Hi guys, and welcome to blog 4 of the Tackle the Feelings Before the Behavior parenting approach. And today we're going to be talking about disgust and its role in fussy eating. And I'm going to be discussing disgust, how to name disgust, and then I'm going to be using some examples that I have from my childhood, as well as some examples that mums have sent in on my Facebook page. And thank you very much for doing that. And just getting the cogs turning, because I realize this is quite a tricky emotion to explain. Everyone sort of knows what it is, but to try and work with it and explain it to a child, it's quite hard. So I think giving you the food example is a good one, because that is disgust. And once you think food, you think, oh yes, that face, that expression, and you can see it and you can use it to work with your child around disgust and get them to understand it as well. That and smells and things like that. And I just want to say, with fussy eating, before I get going, this comes in a range of different ways. You can have picky eaters. You can have some children who don't like textures. You can have some children who just want to eat sweets. I don't know. Every child is unique and different, but there are some commonalities, and there are some things that we do that we don't even know we do that perpetuate this problem. That's not to say anything's your fault or you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that there might be a few tricks to this trade that could help you guys out. So the first thing I want to say as well is around texture and eating struggles and everything. If this is becoming an issue where your child is not getting enough nutrition in and they're not eating enough, and you're starting to notice that and it's becoming a real worry, go to your doctor. That's my biggest advice. Start there. They'll refer you to wherever you need to go. They'll give you advice. They'll assess your child's health, and that's the right track to be on if you are concerned. This is not a replacement of the usual things that you would do if you're concerned about your fussy eating, in the fussy eating in your child. So I wanted to give you an example of my own disgust and sort of what happened and what I think should have happened and probably would have helped. So when I was little, I was in school. I think I must have been about 6, 7, 8. I can't really remember. But I was staying over at some family friends, and we went off to the mum of the family friend's little shop, and we got to go to the back of the shop and pick some cereal, and I chose Weet-Bix. And when I poured the milk on and I was down at the table, all of a sudden, all these little black bugs started floating to the top, and I realized my Weet-Bix were covered in weevils. I was completely and utterly disgusted. Disgusted. I could not imagine myself eating that. And unfortunately, the mum at the time was, didn't think it was anything wrong with that, or I don't know, but she didn't see how it made me feel. She kind of thought, it's all protein, it won't kill you, sorry, and made me eat that, made me sit at the table until I finished it. And I sat there picking little by little out and absolutely horrified and wanting to vomit. It made me feel sick, and I didn't eat the Weet-Bix for years, probably a decade. I didn't eat Weet-Bix. I managed to try again, and I realized I still like Weet-Bix. But it's one of those things that it didn't get attended to. I was made to sit there, and when my mother heard, she was protective. She was, oh, that's dreadful. But she didn't sort of try to get me back to Weet-Bix. She didn't do anything to counteract that disgust, to give me a different association almost. So when I eat Weet-Bix, I don't think of weevils. Give me something, do something fun with me while I eat a Weet-Bix. Try to coax me to do it. Try to explain that was a once-off, or, something like that. Because what I felt in that reaction of mine, that was an appropriate reaction. Getting you to eat insects, that's not something we do in our society and in my culture anyway. So it was unusual, and I was revolted. So my point is that we can leave things, we cannot attend, and that child will probably go back to eating that or trying that or grow out of it in some way. But does it need to take 10 years? And so your role in that could be to attend to that emotion, that disgust, understand, acknowledge that your child was disgusted, make that okay. It's okay that you felt that. I'm sorry that you had to go there. I wish that hadn't happened to you, honey. And then once you've attended to that, acknowledged it, made that child understand that you've heard, that's when you start addressing it. And with disgust, it's about trying to create a positive association with an otherwise negative one. And so make something happy about it in your head rather than have all those bad things you think about when you have it. And we've had a few examples. One of them was textures. So again, with textures, you're going to get those faces that, gross, yuck, I don't want it. There's going to be a bodily reaction that is completely repellent. Your whole face will show that wrinkled up yuck. And you need to show your child that that's, I can see, and mirror that face to them. Show them what that is. Say that that's okay, that you feel that. And once you've heard that, once they know that you understand that that's that issue for them, this food, whether it's a texture, there was another example of fruit and vegetables, the reason they're not eating it is because it revolts them. They're disgusted. So you need to attend to that emotion first, tackle that feeling first, the disgust. So when your child doesn't want to eat it, you don't have to say, this is disgust that you're feeling, little one. No. You do it in a way that you know it's disgust, and you use language and words that's appropriate for them. Yucky, I know that's not nice at all, or that tastes really bad. Scrunch your face, be as expressive as you can. Show them physically in your face, verbally in your words, you get it. And nurture them, make that okay. Don't criticize them. That's the first thing we want to do when they don't want to eat something that we want them to eat. We tend to just jump in there and get frustrated and put in rules and stamp. Put in rules, yes. Do things, yes. But what my approach is telling you, straight to the emotion, you start compassionately. You start by addressing what they're feeling, seeing what they're feeling, mirroring that back to them so that they understand. So you're teaching disgust, and then you attend to it. You make it okay first. Everything that they feel is right. Everything. Whatever they feel is right in every single situation. That's a ground rule in life. Your children, everybody, whatever anybody feels is okay, because that's their feelings, that's how they feel. Those are their emotions. They're entitled to their emotions, and nobody else is going to understand exactly how they feel. You need to empathize and show them that you can imagine how they feel. You're putting yourself in their shoes. And it's about being safe. It's about being understood, being heard, being reassured. And you're attending to those needs. And that big fancy word, emotional regulation, you are managing their emotions in every situation, feelings first. So some parents, and this is also common, it's whether you impose food on your child, whether you have strict food, how do you tackle that? Do you get straight into giving them that food, give them the speech about the starving kids in Ethiopia? I got that too. No. I think I want to stamp that one out, because we do need to empower, we do need to give them choice and freedom, but it is more important as well to give them structure. You are the guide, you are always the parent. So never have a free reign approach, never have a complete freedom approach. Until they are sort of at a certain age, when they are in childhood, not adolescence, childhood right through, you are a parent first. They don't need as much freedom in those departments. What they need is guidance and safety. So it's okay to let your children choose food and have free reign in the cupboards when they're hungry and things like that. I think that's great. I think you need to assess from child to child, your family. The mum that wrote in, I would have no problem with her approach. Her kids are eating a balanced diet. You know, they get to go and help themselves to things. They get the odd sweets, you know, but they're not that interested in sweets, she said. So in her situation, that's not bad at all. I think that's great, and it sounds like that works, and food is not an issue. The problem is in your role here. I think it's a tricky one, because you've got to convey that you've got this, that they can trust you, that they're safe. And so you do need to monitor what they're eating. You do need to have reins around that, which I'm sure that mum that wrote in did. But for those parents who, and I went on the internet too, I wanted to back myself up, and I got about 150 different things about whether or not to let your kids choose food or not. And some say it's a disaster to let them choose food. I definitely don't agree with that. But I think give them choices, but keep it structured. Make sure that you've got this. That's the main thing with everything. With fruit and vegetables and things that they don't like but they need to be eating. Rule number 1, do you eat your fruit and vegetables? Because you need to model that, and you need to make those noises delicious when you're eating them. Yum, yum, yum. You teach them that it's something to really, really get excited about. Make it fun. Try and get creative. And couple the nasties with things that they like. I love, love, love the idea of sneaking those vegetables, grating them up into mincemeat and everything. Do it. It is the trick of the trade, I think, to just get those in there, but get them used to it. Talk about vegetables, talk about things and what they do. Empower your children in that way. Get them to choose healthy choices because of the way you've made it fun, the way you've made not such a big deal about it. You just have to tease it out slowly and keep at it and find out what works for you. There was one last thing I wanted to say, and that was there was a comment about her daughter liking to eat eggshells. You'd be surprised how common this is. I was shocked. But it's not actually that uncommon. If you think about it, what's the feeling? Crunchy. We all think of little girls, they like clip-clopping on the floors. Some people like the smell of petrol. It's all about, when you're that age, you're exploring. Everything's an exciting, wonderful experience. It's all new. So I encourage, keep going, but keep safe. Eggshells, make sure they're boiled eggs, and sharp edges, make sure they're not going to, that they're old enough to sort of eat it healthily if you can, or unharmfully, I don't know. But thank you very much for everything that you've put in. I hope this has been helpful. If I will keep going with strategies, and I'll put up some links. I'll put up some links about textures. And if you keep going with questions, I can help you individually. But just remember, tackle that feeling first. Make sure that they feel heard, because you'll be setting up for a lot of healthy outcomes in the future. Do everything that you do mindfully. Make sure you know what you're doing. So it's Disgust for Fussy Eating, and remember to name it. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great day. Bye.